Alright guys, today we're going on the OG, the 82 Honda Magna. And I'll tell you why on the ride, why it's the OG, for multiple reasons. There's spider webs and wetness everywhere. And that's fine, but I don't think we want that on our legs. So anyway, drum brake in the rear. This is a 750, the V45 82 Honda Magna. We have dual front discs with dual pop calipers, and this is the bike that got me back into motorcycle riding, and it's pretty freaking loud. Did you see that? Because this actually has a 4-into-1, yes, it's a V4, 4-into-1 straight pipe, which is so freaking loud. Alright, the only thing I've been having trouble with this one is this doesn't always register, so you turn the key and it doesn't, but now it's working. So I put a little electrical cleaner down in that hole and it seems to be okay. So choke is on. I know I cleaned the carbs one time and now this choke lever doesn't stay where I want it, but let's start it up. This is another issue. Let's see if it happens here. Sitting outside, this thing collects water, and that's terrible, and that's awful. So now I've just got water sitting in my headers and my tailpipe, and it's gross, and it's terrible, and I realized that my microphone was not plugged in. So can you hear me now, guys? Can you hear me now? Oh, I feel like such a bad owner. I gotta put a bucket over that or something. You saw this is not tight. This is just a generic pipe, and it is what it is. So anyway, let that warm up a second, then we can turn this off. I'm gonna go grab my gloves here and we'll hit the road. I'm sorry, that's just so bad. All this rainwater gets washed down in there, and so it's going to be sitting down in there rusting everything out, and that's terrible. So I better get on that and either not let it sit outside or cover the end of the pipe. Still didn't get my new gloves yet. I gotta make a run about a half an hour away on a day that they're open. So sticking with these for now. Now that we've got a chance to warm this girl up a little bit, she's been dormant for a little while. I forgot the clutch. There's some issues with the clutch, and I think what's happened, I think the fluid's going bad, and it still works, but I'm afraid I might lose the clutch at some point because it goes almost to the bar. Like, you feel like you don't have a lot of pressure. So we're going to be doing a clutch fluid change maybe today. It's got to happen soon because I'm afraid if I ride this again I might not have a clutch. So definitely gonna have to worry about that. The rear brake on this thing, as I showed you, it's a drum brake, and it still works, but when you apply the brake pedal, it kind of rolls like this. Like you feel like there's a dip in the pad or something, in the brake shoe. So I'm gonna have to take the rear wheel off and check that out. It's really weird when you're riding 2-up and you have more weight on this bike. It just feels funky, and it works, but it doesn't feel good to me. And you don't really feel it anywhere but in the brake pedal. But I don't want to feel that. The front brakes work great on this. I don't know, I may or may not have changed fluid on that. But I'm going to say we're definitely going to dig into the fluid on the rear, on the clutch side. She is super loud and obnoxious, and definitely has some issues in the power band, but not like the other Magna. She acts like she kind of falters in the beginning. It's kind of weird. I think this has stock jets. I'm not sure. I've never been in the carburetors on this bike. I paid my cousin to do it, and he did a great job because she didn't run before. Actually, I think she started, but she didn't run good, so I had him go through the carburetors, and I'm not sure what jets are in there. But great old bike. It's got classic. This one definitely is customized, and I'm just dealing with the customized. It's fine. But right now we're in overdrive. You can barely see it, but it's a blue light overdrive right there. So that really is 6th gear. And she cruises just fine in that gear as you're moving. It does have a gas tank on top and a gas tank in the middle, so gas flows down from the top tank to the middle tank, and there's a sensor in there. Once the gas gets past the sensor in the second tank, you'll get a low fuel light right here, and that tells you I don't know, you better go fill up. I'm sure you can get a decent amount of riding in on that second tank, but it's good to know when you are getting closer and closer to empty. And this does have the styling of the old 82 bikes. I believe these handlebars are factory, so we do still have a sticker here on them, and they're in a good spot. They're not like the Honda Shadow 700 that they were in too far. Like, you're just like, this is kind of a comfortable buckhorn bar, and I don't know why they used a different one on the 84 Shadow, but this actually feels relatively comfortable to me. I would say ideally they would be forward a little more, like turned out just a little bit, but this works out just fine. And if you can, if you enjoy that straight pipe sound, here you go, this one has it for you. Your mirrors are in a good spot for me. They're sitting perfectly level, and I can see very well behind me. Okay, so when I bought this bike, I had it had a traveler seat on it, which just looked hideous. If you've ever seen them, they're all like dished out. They look really funny. I'm sure they were comfortable, but I sold that and opted for a stock seat, which I can be honest, really is kind of cramped when you're riding 2-up. Like right now, I'm up against the backs. It kind of breaks itself up, so I'm up against the seat back for the driver, and there's not a ton of room for the passenger, and you kind of got to squeeze on here. It's not like the 3rd gen Magna where it's super comfortable, and both rider and passenger and driver have lots of room. This one's not so, it's better than the Honda Shadow, but it's still kind of cramped. And I don't mind that riding with my girlfriend, but it's not ideal for extended period of time, I guess, of what I'm saying. I do like the grunt sound of this, but it's kind of loud, and the backfires aren't fun. I probably should upgrade the air filter and the jets, of course, but I don't know, not fun. And I don't know if you've ever seen the gas tank up on one of these. You actually take the two bolts out of the front mount, they're up here, and then it lifts forward and there's a hinge on the back, and then there's a prop rod like you would with a hood on a car. So that's pretty cool, and then your air filter's under there. But as you saw at home, this thing fires up all the time. Now, if there wasn't lots of water in the tailpipe, it would have fired up right away. But this thing could definitely use a baffle. That would be ideal. Beautiful cloudy day to ride. Gotta love it. And this, like I said, 82 Honda Magna. First year that Honda put out a Magna V4 motorcycle. And then came the Sabre, and then came the V65 Magna. But this is said to have about 78 horsepower, and I don't remember torque numbers, but it's got plenty of torque. I've been cruising in 6th gear this whole time, and thought about shifting down a couple times, but really, with that clutch being questionable, the hydraulic clutch, I'm happy to stay in 6th, and the bike's happy too. When some deacceleration pops, I can shift down and get them. I'll get them at the stop sign when I come to it. Whee! It's a decent handling bike too. It's not super large. Pretty good steering. It's a little better. I don't know, I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say it's better than my Sabre. I guess it is. It handles, it's a cruiser of course, but it handles everything pretty decently. I have considered selling this bike. It doesn't get ridden enough and it needs to be out. I mean, it starts within a couple cranks every time, as long as there's not water in the exhaust. She's a lot of noise, but she cruises smoothly. She has car horns on her. I don't want to use them at this biker, but he is riding in the road, right? I guess we'll downshift here. Was 5th gear pull. I should have gone to 4th. Man, not a whole lot of traffic out here. This is great for cruising. Alright, you want some backfires? There you go. Not as much as I expected. Well, guys, I think my clutch is definitely going out. Because I just stalled out there because I had to come to a stop. And I'm seeing here there's some leakage, which is not right. I wonder if water got in there. I'm gonna have to be really careful now with my stops because I can't really stall it out at every stop. So, I mean, it seems like I have something back, but I definitely think I'm cooked. See, right now it's working, but back there it wasn't working just a minute ago. It actually stalled out because I was still in gear, and I come on, guys, I have to go. Let's go, or I'm gonna wreck. Definitely clutch issues. And yeah, I don't know if that's water getting cooked out of the brake fluid. I bet that's what it is. Brake fluid is hydroscopic, so it collects water. And if this was collecting water inside, water doesn't compress like brake fluid, and it could easily cook itself out of your master cylinder. So that's one reason not to keep your bikes outside, guys. Now I gotta just be real careful. I don't know if I'm gonna ride it home or take the Shadow, because we'll see if my dad rode the Shadow. I'm meeting up with my dad, so I'll see him in a minute if I get there. If not, I guess I gotta go call him to save me. Aha, not so tough when you're having clutch issues, are ya? Yeah, I gotta ride with care. So, yep, there's the Shadow. She's looking fine. I gotta do some work to her so she can be sold. The clutch is working now, but that doesn't mean it won't stop working in a minute. Yeah, too bad, but definitely need to do it now. Alright, well, we'll park her with the Shadow here, and let's go in and set up some drums. Alright, guys, catch you later. Hello, Shadow!